tonight, and I actually made it tonight. I am early tonight because Lucas is sleeping, and it is definitely the best time to get it done. And I, don't want to end up getting too distracted, and then I miss the time that I set for myself. So here I am, and I'm just gonna give it a few minutes for anyone who may want to join before I get deep into the conversation. I'm just gonna go grab something really quickly. Okay. All right. Hi, Vitra. Hey, Angel. Hi, Monique. I hope everyone, hi, Tawana. I hope everyone has had a good week. Even if you didn't, I'm proud of you because you made it through. Hi, Miss Blast Girl. And welcome to the live stream. I'm just doing it a little early tonight. Hi, Ashley. And I'm so glad I was able to make it. I actually stayed on top of myself, and I have a schedule for how I can keep up with General Hospital. Hey, Sandy. I'm very proud. Hopefully I can keep it going so we can get these live streams being back to weekly. Hey, Deborah. I'm glad you were able to. Out here in Ohio, we got some snow. I don't know if anyone else got any snow, but please be safe out there. Those roads are tricky. But okay, I just wanted one more thing. Okay. Since I didn't take notes, I do remember off the top of my head everything that happened, but I just wanted to write down everyone that I talked about so I could just keep track. Taking notes is sometimes difficult because the baby. Oh, wow. I hope do you feel rested? Because sometimes you go to sleep and you still I still feel like I didn't get enough. Do you have tomorrow off? I hope you do. Back to the grind for me. I like having my weekends off. And it sounds like you work third shift, Monique. I haven't been about that third shift life since I worked for Walmart. It's been more than 10 years, I'd say. But so let's get started. I feel like General Hospital this week was overall great. I enjoyed it. Nope, got to work tomorrow night. Ooh, all right. Well, definitely relax as much as you can. Certainly. So this week's General Hospital, I feel like was definitely very good. I say that this year overall has been awesome. We've had some spots that I didn't like so much. Like what comes to mind immediately, what I didn't like was Natalia and her storyline. I don't know if anyone saw Eva LaRue. She was on the Tamron Hall show, and I guess she's doing a special. It doesn't have anything to do with soaps, but apparently her and her daughter were victims of a stalker. And she was going, on the record and talking about it. So that may be very interesting for people who are fans of Eva LaRue to hear that story. I didn't watch the whole segment, but that's a pretty scary thing to go through. And hopefully the laws will change about how police are able to handle stalkers. You saw that? Yeah. So that's interesting. I do love Eva LaRue. I think she's a wonderful actress overall. I just think that the character of Natalia and her backstory was just awful, and there really was no coming back from that. Let's talk about how Trina needs to stay in her lane. We could talk about Trina first. Let me write that down, Trina. Okay. I've been quite annoyed by her. And sometimes I'm still processing that part, Monique. Let me write that down. I'm still processing the recast. I'm not saying that the actress isn't doing a good job. She is Trina at this point, it has been some years since she's played the character. Yes, Trina needs a life because Kai isn't enough for her. Wasn't she just laying up with Kai at the apartment when Jocelyn showed up and decided to go to her mama's house? She had a reason to go to her mother's house because she was concerned about Valentine having escaped from the WSB. But it seems like Kai just isn't enough for Trina. But I guess if you think about it, Trina and Stella are related, so this is exactly in line for the women of the Ashford family. They are busybodies, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, her attitude when it comes to Jordan, I'm in the middle because it's like, these are her parents, and she is the problem. Angel says the problem is the writing for her. They're making her annoying. Very annoying. Very annoying. Like, it's just, I don't know. Like you said, it's the writing. I think it's also her delivery. I think it's also her brand of acting that I'm having trouble with. I have to be honest about it. I mean, I'm not saying she's not doing a good job. Like I said, she's been holding it down. Just her delivery sometimes, it's just throwing me off. Trina doesn't have a clue who her mother is at all. And you would think after the big secret of her actual paternity being kept secret, and I'm still rubbed the wrong way with how she's just so dad with Curtis. I get it, that's your biological father, but even though Taggart can't be on the show because I haven't checked in on the actor who's Andrew, I believe, who played Taggart. I believe he was having health crisis or health issues in regards to cancer. So I haven't heard an update about him in quite a while. I'm going to have to research and see if anybody knows what's going on with the actor who plays Taggart in real life, if he was able to beat cancer, if he's still dealing with it. I'd like an update. I think they saw how we loved Trina when she was with Spencer and they couldn't stand us loving her over Joss. Oh, you think so? So they sabotaged her? You never know. For me, I'm just not over how they made her Curtis's daughter over Taggart. And, she's just being very, extra with all, they sure did. They're just making her very extra with everything that's going on with Curtis and Portia. However, there's a sense that I can understand that. Everyone, if they can, would like their parents to be together. If Isaiah never asked about the pregnancy, I doubt Portia would have been honest about it. The show didn't want Taggart on the show. Real was open to come back. Like I said last show, Curtis has been her dad for 2 days. Hi, Catherine. That is facts. I mean, it's just very interesting how it's just so dad, and again, if we can, we would like for our parents to have been together if they could. And I guess, she's blaming Jordan. I really don't like her attitude towards Jordan. I think the scenes with Trina this week that annoyed me the most was after she came out from talking to Curtis at the PCPD when Jordan showed up and Jordan was like, I didn't even realize, that anyone was here. And she goes out, she talks to Kai, and she's like, oh, I was talking to my dad, and then she shows up, and then the conversation is over. Oh, that woman, why can't my dad see how manipulative she is? And I'm just like, girl, you share a cousin from this woman. Calm down. Like, I'll just assume that she's blinded because she's upset that her parents are getting a divorce and she has to place the blame somewhere. Although she's very much aware of what her mother and her father went through because of Drew, so much to the point that she and Kai went into Drew's home to steal the evidence out of his safe. Now, I wanted to bring that point up to say, spoilers indicate that there's going to be a pair of arrests on Friday's episode. A lot of people I've seen in the comments, are thinking that it's Michael and Jacinda. That very may well be. However, I was wondering, when are Kai and Trina going to be caught up in this Drew mystery? The only reason why I say that is because they have the camera footage of Willow, and I mean, wasn't that kind of an amazing shot of Willow driving like that? I was like, whose camera is really positioned on the street to get straight up as somebody's dash? It's like the camera was in the middle of the road. Like, that was so unrealistic. But okay. But if you have footage of Willow Then there's other footage of everyone else that made it to Drew's house that night. So now I'm just waiting for. I mean, Michael isn't the only possibility of footage to pop up. He's definitely a contender, but there could very well be footage that pops up of Kai and Trina, and they could be the next ones to be brought into the PCPD. So that'll be interesting to see on Friday's episode how those spoilers play out. Nathan been back for a couple of months and doing more than Nathan, we still need to know what happened to you, but sir, not only are you doing an amazing job, but he looks good. He looks good. And they let him keep his gray hairs. I mean, he looks good. He's a fox. That man is a fox, okay? What was the point of stealing the evidence when they never told anyone that they burned it? Right. HD quality. So I'm looking forward to them seeing more footage, because there should be more than just Willow shown. But that was absolutely crazy. But Trina, girl, we need you to calm down. You're being very extra hyper, and it's going to be interesting to see how things continue to unfold, because I will say this for Curtis: he's honest with the people who matter in his life. He is honest. He told Trina that he was seeing Selena Wu that night. I don't believe he told her why, that, he had wanted to hire her to kill Drew. But I will say that he went as far as he possibly could, and he does keep it as honest. He's much more honest than Portia, but he still has his secrets, because I think he was keeping it from Portia that he had dealings with Selena Wu. So he's not perfect. Okay, I'm not about to sit there. He has his secrets too, but I feel like he is far more honest than Portia is. Now, with Portia, she had an episode, and Isaiah was in the room for her, and I have to agree with whoever just said it. The comments come up very fast, but whoever said it in the comments, I agree, and I think we're all on the same page here, that Isaiah probably would have never known about her pregnancy had she not had a scare just then. And then the way, she told him, like, hey, you need to shut up, because I'm not losing this baby. She didn't say it like that, but pretty much, and he's just like, what? And I can't even say poor Isaiah, because at the end of the day, I'm very touchy about fidelity when it comes to marriages, because of what I went through in real life. So I do not feel bad for Isaiah, because you should not have been messing around with a woman who has a husband. Regardless of what they're going through, they are married until they're divorced, period. So no, I don't. And then plus, what do you think you're going to get from a woman who's sitting there messing around with you while she has a husband? She's not going to be honest with you. That shows you what the integrity of the woman you're messing with. So you get what you get with Portia. What is Trina going to do when she finds out about Isaiah, and if the baby is his? Look out. Woo! Woo! Everyone's going to be like singing Jordan's praises at that point. Isaiah's character was changed as well. He's very different from when he first appeared on the show. I'll be honest with you, I don't think I paid that much attention to Isaiah when he first came on the show. He was mixed in with Lucky. If there are clips, I will absolutely go back to see. I said the same thing. He does give like he might have attachment issues. Like, you could see it in his face when he realized, like, he was taking it all in, like, and he asked the right questions of Portia, like, would you have ever told me? I don't believe she would have. I think she would have, Curtis would have known, and she didn't tell Curtis. Curtis found out through someone else. Portia was never going to tell these men. She was just going to keep it to herself, hiding behind the excuse of, I'm an older woman having a pregnancy. I just want to get out of the first trimester because I could lose the baby. Although that is valid, she's keeping it to herself also to protect her own secret. This would be Portia's second affair that resulted in a child. How did Isaiah know Portia was married or having problems with Curtis? I mean, he should have known she was married, because she's the chief of staff, and her husband. I mean, how would you not know that the chief of staff has a husband who's always showing up at the hospital? And also, I'll actually, Monique, have to go back to review Portia and Isaiah's beginnings, but I'm pretty certain he was well aware at least of the fact that she was married, and Portia confided in him about what she was going through. But again, I have not been paying attention to Isaiah, so I'm actually gonna have to go back and double check. It gets way too attached to women. Jordan, now Portia. I think most fans were here for his relationship with Jordan, and that they broke up for such a dumb reason, especially since she hasn't really made any headway, or at least she hasn't made enough headway yet when it comes to Sidwell. Hopefully that'll change soon. But Isaiah and Jordan talked about Curtis and Portia. Okay. He is super attached to Portia even more than Jordan. And especially now that there's a baby involved. Oh, yeah. So hopefully, so at least now she is going to get the DNA test done instead of waiting more than 20 years to do it. And now she has no choice because both men know that she's pregnant. The only thing is that Curtis has no idea that there is another option other than him when it comes to being the father. He knew because he was with Jordan first, and that definitely would have been conversation. I see what you mean. Curtis has no idea that there's another option to being the father. Neither does Trina. The whole family thinks that Curtis is the father of this baby. That's why I believe that the baby is going to be Isaiah's, because I mean, it's much more messy, or much more mess, if Isaiah turns out to be the father. Just saying. And I much rather see the fallout of this mess, because doesn't nobody deserve it better than Portia? How do you not know that your boss is married? The ring is on her finger. Her husband shows up a lot to the hospital. She talks about him. I'm very certain that Isaiah knew that Portia was married before he started sleeping with her. I mean, I feel like that's what kind of led them to have their little tryst, because she was going through it. She was kind of confiding in him, leaning on him. They grew closer. Why do these shows keep writing the old women getting pregnant? Because it happens in real life. It actually does. And maybe there are some women out there who can relate to that kind of story. Also, it's for drama. I guess I guess this was the route they decided to take in giving more drama to her. Curtis has never wondered why Isaiah is so hostile towards him. I think he wondered, but I don't think he's pushed hard enough to find out. Because even when he showed up at the hospital after getting released from the PCPD, and Isaiah was hesitant to even let Curtis know where Portia was, and he was just like, no stress for her. It seemed like he had like a slight look on his face, but he didn't dwell on it, because he was just like, let me get to Portia and find out what's going on with the baby. So I think it's just he's not really like honed in on it yet. But it'll be interesting on how Curtis finds out about Isaiah and Portia, and that the baby might be his. But I do not believe that Portia is going to be honest like she's telling these men. I really don't. Because now, I mean, there's even a possibility that Isaiah might keep his mouth shut so Portia can stay with her family. Those scenes, and I think this was Friday's episode, when Curtis went in there to check on Portia, it seems like Curtis had a renewed energy to be like, oh, nothing else matters. You, the baby, y'all are safe. Let's go home together. Don't you want to go home? Because Isaiah at first invited her to the cabin, and she was going to go to the cabin with Isaiah. Isaiah overheard what was going on and kind of nodded and was like, it's okay, go ahead and go home with them for right now. So maybe Curtis might be doing a 180. And it's like, you know what? I was in jail. She almost got, could have been in prison over this Drew thing. Now my focus is on this woman and the child and making sure everyone's okay. So we'll see what is in store for all of these people. I just want Jordan to just detach herself from Curtis. This is a messy, bad situation, even with the secret being under wraps about the paternity of the child. Lady, this man is having a fresh baby with this woman. In his mind, he wholeheartedly believes that, and he doesn't know anything different. Jordan needs to walk away and leave Curtis alone. All right? Alone. No, just girl, stop it. Just leave it. I didn't even know Portia moved to the Metro Court. I wasn't even paying attention to that either. I sure wasn't. But please, Jordan, just move on. this is messy. I need better for you. I need better for you. But Jordan did show up at the PCPD at the request of Dante and Nathan in order to sign her, to sign something because she was there to hear Curtis's sworn statement. Now, I will have to give the PCPD props on this particular case because they are doing their work. And I will definitely say Nathan is so sharp. But I'm also wondering, are we going to give Dante props because now Dante is the acting police commissioner in Anna's absence? And he is also calling the shots, and he is the one who's told Nathan to review everything and to go over everything. And Nathan is doing a fine job. He's actually doing a far better job than Chase is. And we're going to get to Chase's ass in a moment. Let me write this down. Okay, PCPD. Okay. They're doing a wonderful job. So far right now, they have 2 major cases. Nina threw Portia under the bus. Oh, we're going to get to that. Okay. Just making sure I touch all my bases. But so the PCPD has 2 really major cases right now on their hands. It is Who Shot Drew and Professor Dalton. Because right now, Professor Dalton is MIA. And it is unknown to them that he is dead. The only people that know that he is dead is, of course, everyone who lives on Spoon Island except for Lucas, Britt, Laura, Sonny, Kevin, and Jason. I think I named everybody and got everybody who knows that Dalton is really dead. But PCPD has never been so efficient since Nathan came back. Absolutely. I snapped for it. So we had scenes with the is she the ADA? Or is that Molly? Is Molly the ADA and Justine is the DA? I think she's the DA and then Molly is the ADA. But we had scenes between these 2 women, and Justine admitted that she is trying to work Sonny in order to be the one to take him down. I've just heard this so many times, so I'm just like, yeah, okay. I'm like, I feel like there are other women who have taken that angle like you have and is trying to take him down. Justine did ask Mac when he showed up at the PCPD for his take on Sonny, and he did not hold back at all and said Sonny is a criminal and, was like, hell, it's very likely that he's dead, She's the ADA. Okay. Who is the DA? Is that Mac or who's the district attorney? When you say ADA, is that assistant district attorney, right? I have to look into that. All these abbreviations. But Mac didn't hold back on his opinion. And now Justine is, okay. So now Justine, another Claire, that's exactly who I was thinking about. Claire Walsh. She was really the last one who came up after her, right? It took some years between her and Claire Walsh because Claire, if I remember, Claire was around when the Claudia Zaccara case was going down. And she was trying to take Sonny down for it, if I remember correctly. I thought Jack Brennan said he took Anna or Sidwell and Brennan working together. I didn't even know Brennan said that. I'm gonna have to go back to reconfirm. So yeah, Justine, I'm not really believing that you're gonna take Sonny down, but I don't think that she's fully pulled into Sonny right now. Robert technically is the DA. Oh, Robert, rest in peace. You're right, yeah. I think she's just the acting DA, right? While he was out of town with Holly, or did he just fully give his job to her? Yeah, okay, yeah. Thank you for that, Mandy. I appreciate it. So, the other case, as we all know, is Who Shot Drew. And I think they're doing a great job with the investigation. I was definitely on the edge of my seat with the twists and turns. I thought that they were going to drop the charges against Willow. It didn't help that Nina just showed up and was just like, oh, they're going to drop the charges against you. Oh my goodness, Nina. Nina Reeves Someone mentioned it and I had to write it down. I don't understand why she thinks, I am too. I don't get why she thinks people are just supposed to roll over and play dead because she threw Portia under the bus for the sake of Willow. Like, why would you think anyone outside of you and your mental ridiculousness would think that that's okay under any circumstances? Right. Anytime Nina says something, the opposite happens. You are correct. I just, like, why did, like, she's going around like, oh, but I have to save my daughter. I can't just let my daughter go down for this. I got to do whatever I have to for my daughter, my daughter, my daughter. It's just, girl, that is not an excuse to sit there and betray people who have had your back, you know, and people who also know where your bodies are buried too. I can't believe that she was sitting there trying to excuse or reason with Portia and Curtis on this. Dr. O knows Willow has an evil streak. Nina couldn't stick her neck out too far. Shouldn't stick her neck too far for Willow. Yeah, the same daughter who don't want anything to do with her. And also, Nina needs to tread lightly because Willow is getting very good. Glad Michael called Nina out saying, oh, weren't you getting down and dirty with you in his office? Hello. Nina needs to tread carefully because Willow is getting very good at manipulation. And I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I'm concerned that she's also manipulating Nina in saying, like, I don't love Drew. How do we know she's not playing the audience at this point? I don't think she'll just up and leave Drew immediately. No, I don't think so. I don't put it past her to be playing Nina as well. You know what I mean? Like when they were in Alexis's house after Nina came in with her news about Curtis being arrested, and she's like, oh, what do you do now? You know, what do you do? And she's like, I can't talk about this right now. And I'm just like, I don't even believe, like, I feel like she would still stay with Drew. Okay, I don't believe she'll leave him. And then you see the close-up of that ring. My mind is still blown that you married this man wearing the ring of your former husband who happens to be the nephew of the man you've married. All right. But, ooh, that girl. But as far as Nina is concerned, I'm glad that neither Portia nor Curtis were like quick to be like, you know, they're letting her suffer for it, and she ought to. I wouldn't forgive her for it. I really wouldn't. At this point, you're completely out of my circle, because for you to sit there and throw me under the bus and I'm gonna go to jail for your child for something I didn't do. You know, I'm not gonna say that they'll never reconcile, but she had better earn it. Like, they need to let her suffer for this. She's manipulating Chase as well. Chase didn't learn anything from this whole Nell situation. That was completely awful on so many levels, because she wasn't even in the gate of the property. Willow, Chase had to let her into the gate to get on the property. And then not only that, it didn't end at the gate. He brought her all the way up into the house. It's not only are you betraying your badge, but you are betraying the family. Willow is not a she's not a Quartermain. She's a Kane now. She keep violating the court or be getting away with it. Yes, and Chase is such an enabler. Like, sitting there talking about, oh, I'm not going to get in the middle, or we're not going to get involved in this, or I'm not going to be, party to keeping a mother from her child. Then what the hell have you been doing sitting there trying to conduct your own investigation to try to throw Michael under the bus? And why do you have such a hard on Michael? Michael is the only one, and let me calm down. Michael is the only one who is following the law, who is doing the right thing. He's not even using his power and influence like Willow keeps trying to throw around. Oh, Sonny and Michael are so powerful. Oh my gosh, like, how can I ever compete with that? He's not even using that. He's actually doing it the right way. You know? And Chase is undermining him every step of the way. And I really want him to get gobsmacked in the face, Chase, for the way he is betraying his family and betraying another man who is doing whatever he can to put his children first. Willow is so damn selfish. You know it wouldn't have stopped with her going to look in on the kids. I want that to come out too, Ashley. Absolutely. If the roles were reversed, he wouldn't let Michael see the kids. Right. He wouldn't be sitting there trying to help Michael sneak in and see the children. When she gets in the house, not only is she using their past relationship to manipulate his feelings, because Chase isn't seeing how Willow has indeed changed. She is not the Willow of old. This woman has been heavily influenced by Drew in this relationship. She has evolved into a she-devil, honey. When this is all over, Drew is going to get ate up. He is going to get eaten up by this woman. He still sees the old woman. I think Chase is still upset that Michael cheated with Willow when Chase was married to her. Hey, that's Michael's karma to deal with, to be honest. To be honest, if I was BLQ, Chase would be in the stables with Cody and Outback. I can't wait for Chase to have egg on his face. Me too. But not only is he being emotionally manipulated because of their past relationship, but he's being flat out lied to. She lied to him by telling him that the charges were being dropped. That was a lie. Even Alexis kept telling her and Nina is sitting there getting attitude with Alexis like, oh, she should be under suspicion one more day. Like, what are you getting why are you getting like that with Alexis? She's giving you her expertise as a lawyer who's been in the game for more than 20 years. Even before she came to Port Charles. And Alexis kept saying, there is a possibility, but we don't know. He's only been charged with something completely different that has nothing to do with Drew. There was nothing. Nina ran up in there. Those women are terrible. And not to mention she hasn't told him what she was doing to Sasha. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we all agree. We want to see her have to answer for what she did to Sasha and Daisy. The fans will never forget. The writers may not be talking about it, but the fans will never forget what she did to an innocent baby and her mother. Drove them out of Port Charles. She needs to answer for that. And that's why I am so team Michael. And even if I wasn't on Michael's side, I still don't want to see this woman get her children back. I do not. I mean, did you hear Wiley in the kitchen after Michael and Christina had to break the news that she married Drew? It was so sweet because he asked, did mommy look pretty? He loves his mother. He loves his mother. But he was adamant to say that he does not want to go to live with Drew. He wants to stay at the Quartermains with his father. And he spoke for not only himself, but for his sister. And I really wish the courts would listen to Wiley. Like, why? This little boy knows what he wants and what's best for him and his sister. He absolutely said that. The courts need to hear from Wiley. Drew has manipulated Wiley, and I think he manipulated him twice. He sure did. He manipulated him twice. Once at the hospital in front of Rick, and then for the second time at the Metro Court when Michael stepped away. And Willow is completely oblivious and refuses to listen to any of it. And she's so busy talking about getting her kids back that she's created an environment that her son doesn't want to be in with her. So now it's not even about Michael. It really has never been about Michael. It's always been about Willow and her choices. And she can't seem to help herself, especially when it comes to Drew. She just goes deeper and deeper, and she's not paying attention to really what her children need. She just wants them back. And even if she were to regain custody, it doesn't seem like she would have them back. Emotionally, they're they've been harmed by this whole thing. So, she straight up lied to Chase. I could see Drew telling the court that Michael manipulated Wiley into saying he doesn't want to live with Drew. But will the court believe Drew just on his word alone? I'm wondering, where's like the court appointed psychologist? Shouldn't there be one? I thought that the kids were supposed to have some kind of therapy that was going to help determine the kids' visitation with Willow later on. But I think it's funny every single time that Nina gets in Michael's face and says, oh, this is one step closer to Willow getting visitation, and after that, custody. And it's like, it should be joint. You guys should be sharing. You guys should be finding a way to share anyway. Every single time you guys sit there and try to get all all uppity in Michael's face, you always fall flat on your face. And they're not realizing the pattern. It's like, maybe if you women would truly humble yourselves, you would get somewhere. But every single time they sit there and have their little prideful chest sticked out, they always end up looking terrible. So she lied straight to Chase's face. I don't even know if I want to say I give Chase credit on this, but he did say, even if the charges are dropped, every time Drew says to Willow, I'm going to get your kids back, it backfires. That part. Chase did tell Willow, if, with the charges being dropped, and then Chase, you are an officer. You could have called to validate what she said. You should have done that. But just because the charges are being dropped against you when it comes to Drew, that doesn't mean the court order goes away. You're still not supposed to be seeing your kids until the custody hearing. And then he went further to say you being here could harm your chances of getting custody of your kids because you keep breaking this order. And she blew straight past that stop sign. And she kept saying, I don't have to actually be seen by them, but I could just look in on them. And we all know it would not have stopped there because Wiley would have seen her. He would have ran up to her. She probably would have went in to hug the kids. Then she would have been like, hey, Chase, can you keep a lookout? Make sure nobody's coming so I can, talk to the kids real quick. It wouldn't have stopped there. I'm upset that Michael couldn't have been there to witness it happening. I'm disappointed, so disappointed in Chase because this is supposed to be some lawman. And Michael is right. I'm not doing anything other than asking you to tell the truth. And you're going to tell me that you're going to go up there and plead the fifth? So the well-being of Willow is more important than the children that are involved? That this woman has no restraint to abide by the authority of a judge? Ugh. Michael and Willow could have joint custody, but Nina and Drew filled Willow's head with unrealistic thoughts about Michael. And it's so unfortunate because Willow, she should know better about Michael by now. She should have a stronger sense about Michael, but you're right. She was easily convinced. Easily convinced. Yet, and let me say this, and Brooklyn, you are truly family. Because I do realize that we've seen her have conversations about this. Brooklyn not mad enough at Chase for my liking. Agreed. But we've heard her have conversations about this that, and seen the worry on her face when she's talked to Michael about Michael and Willow's situation. So I can imagine that wasn't easy for Brooklyn to do, to reject Willow from seeing her kids. But first of all, Willow is asking the wrong person. She's sitting there pleading with the wrong people. You should not be bringing this to them. And I'm very glad that Brooklyn stood her ground and said, I'm glad I showed up. You should not be leaning on my husband and using how he feels about you and y'all past connections in order for him to be doing this for you. And I agree. There needs to be some consequences for Chase with his wife. Because that woman has you too wrapped around your finger to be sitting there doing some foolishness like this. Putting your job on the line. Wasn't he crying over losing his badge the last time and how much he wanted to be back working for the PCPD? And you're risking it all for a woman that you are not married to? Huh? Brooklyn's starting to irritate. Is starting to get irritated. Yes. She needs to get even more than irritated. He would be sleeping out by the gate if it was if it was on me. Get your ass out by the gate that you let her into. You could sleep out there. Pitch a tent. It would be amazing if Chase came back and found all this stuff in the yard. Wouldn't it? Where's Tracy when you need her? I think Tracy returns. I'm so happy she returns. But Tracy needs to know about this. She not irritated enough for me. She sure certainly isn't. She needs to do a bit more because this has been going on for far too long. BLQ got her throat slashed because she was trying to call Michael to warn him about Nell. I hope there's not another repeat of that. Tracy should have been there. What I will say though is, I want to ask this: Do we all still think that Willow is the one who shot Drew, or who do you believe shot Drew at this point? He's still trying to blame Michael. I don't believe it was Michael. I would like if it was Michael, I think I'm gonna fall off the couch. Because at this point, I'm so convinced it wasn't him, although we know he was there the night of the shooting because Tracy saw him. Yes, Willow did it. And if you do believe Willow did it, do you think she, at this point, I don't care, I just want the storyline to be over. They wrapped up the storyline with Ronnie much faster than they're doing with this. Who knows when we'll actually get to the truth of it. But I'm wondering if she did have DID or if she's well aware that she shot him and she's just putting on such a wonderful performance. Because now we have footage that she was actually in Drew's neighborhood and she's claiming she drove by his house. I don't care if Michael did it. He better not go to prison for it. Amen. I think it was Willow, but she doesn't remember it. Either she doesn't remember it or she is putting on one hell of a performance. I don't know which one would be more juicier. I have no idea. But Drew is standing by this woman 10 toes down. I mean, and she's got him stressed, honey. Definitely think it's Willow. I mean, everyone is convinced that it's Willow at this point. I say he hired someone to shoot him to set Michael up, but the second shot by someone else. That would definitely be an interesting theory to see if that unfolds. She remembers doing it. It's going to be so interesting to see how this all plays out. I feel like she might have did it and Drew find out and makes her stay married to him. That could also be another possibility. But let me write that down. We want who shot Drew to be over. Over. And Chase needs to have some actual consequences. Nathan did call Nina down to the PCPD and broke the news to her that the charges are not dropped and they're going through the trial. I still hope they do go through the trial. I want to see this woman dragged. Even though, like I said, spoilers indicate that 2 other people are going to be arrested. We don't know what for, but I'm hoping it's going to be Kai and Trina and not Michael and Jacinda. Now let's move on to Michael and Jacinda. So the 2 of them, from what I remember this week about them the most, is that they got caught about to have some office pleasures in Nina's office. And Nina, girl, I really couldn't stand you. Next to Trina, you were the second most annoying person this week for me. All that. You are such a hypocrite. I think someone said it on X. They were like, you know, I'm really sick of her calling Jacinda a sex worker at this point. Also, someone pointed out that, you know, you really should not be throwing stones when you snatched a fetus, a baby out of somebody's womb. And then you withheld somebody's husband, not really withheld him, but you were sitting there dating somebody's husband while he had no memory of who he was. Michael and Jacinda make a good couple. There are many people who feel that way, and they like Jacinda. So that's good. I want to know who the heck is behind Britt and Nathan being alive. Yeah, I'm still wondering if we're waiting for, hold on, let me write that down. I'm still wondering if we're waiting for Maxie to return in order to do a deep dive into Nathan's origin or return origin story, because we need to know that. Oh, I'm going to get to that in a second. Hold on, let me write that down too. You kind of like Michael and Jacinda? I'm sick and tired of her calling her a sex worker. I need that to stop. I need somebody to have some kind of dialogue that silences her from that. Because, but hired her to set up Drew. That part. Ooh. Nina, where is Lucas? Lucas was on. Lucas, we saw him help Britt out with getting the test results for Portia. I feel like I also saw him. I don't know if it happened this week, but I think Lucas went home to Spoon Island and Marco had like some dinner, some candlelight for him. He was giving him a massage. And then that creepy Pascal showed up and kind of threw the vibe off. And that's when we saw, I think in the same episode, if not the next one, that Anna is actually on Spoon Island being held by Sidwell. Tired of Lucas and his Lucas is so naive, and you would think he'd know better with what he went through with Brad. Your instincts should be far better than this. They have dumbed Lucas all the way down. Okay. He should have better instincts than this. But Lucas did say that he is going to do a letter of recommendation for Britt. So that was a good moment this week. I think Britt should get her license back. But at least we have a legitimate story and she just wasn't restored like Nathan was. You know what I mean? Lucas gave up way too much information about Carly and her dislike for Marco. Indeed. I don't think Britt never died because she says she woke up and Sidwell was making her work in the lab and giving her the meds to keep her alive. I think when they say, well, because the same could be said, we know that neither one of them died. But we definitely need to know more. I think Britt is more straightforward than Nathan's is. Nathan is the big mystery, and right now he's getting comfortable. And I'm wondering if at some point the writers and the story is going to get the drop on us to reveal something major. Because it's just, he seems like himself. He's doing a great job with the PCPD. I enjoy his relationship with Nina. The connection, him being her J, and so I'm just like, that they have to circle back to that. They better not do that, But I think they will, because Anna, when we were having her scenes and seeing where she was being held at, she's very smart. She was going back over everything that led up to her being in captivity. And the big thing was Nathan and Britt resurfacing. Why is Britt so snarky? It's getting ridiculous. I don't like it either, but that's her defense mechanism, or at least I think so. That's how she protects herself, by being snarky. Hold on. I just want to make sure that, okay, I talked about Anna. Now let me write Britt down, okay? So I want to do a temperature check. Britt and Jason. Sabrina, were you shocked when Britt kissed Jason and then tell Jason, no, I don't want your help? No, I'm not surprised by that. I'm not. Because she watched a man get shot and killed in front of her. She don't want to die. So her kissing Jason, I feel like she probably has those, like she probably has that in her, like, to kiss him, She wanted him to kiss her when she was drunk, So she has those feelings for Jason, but she don't want to die. So no, she's not going to tell him. So I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked by that. Like, she probably wants to give in, But it's like, I can't die for you. Like she said last week, I have to know that you're going to be here for me, and that the moment Sonny calls, you're not going to leave me cold, and leave me defenseless. I'm not mad at her at all, and I completely understand. I think she's right. Like, I don't know that who knows? Like, it seems like Sidwell is ahead of everyone else. And it's like he could have eyes and ears. That photographer was there to catch Laura and Sonny. So who knows? Somebody could be tapping in on Britt, and the moment she tells the information, she could die. You said Jason looks like he could be Britt's father, no chemistry. Many people have been saying they don't see the chemistry between those two. I am completely undecided. I'm completely neutral. I'm just watching. I don't know yet for me personally. I don't know. But how do we feel about Jason just being overly pushy to, pretty much begging? Yeah, 20 steps. Pretty much begging Britt to let him help, you know? I mean, yeah, Britt's defense mechanism is to be smart, snarky. Also, we have, he's been very pushy in trying to get her to be open to him. I mean, on the one side, I can understand why some fans are annoying. Jason figured out, and I'm glad. Jason is a sharp cookie, and I'm glad because I feel like I'd say Cesar Faison is the secret mastermind. Yeah, I mean, he clearly has feelings for her and wants to help. I think that Britt needs someone like Jason. I know that there are people that are annoyed and they're really not feeling it, and there are plenty, of Jason fans who are just like, I feel like his time would be better spent doing something else, and they feel like, Frank is forcing Jason and Britt as a couple whenever they'll become a couple, if at all, But Britt needs someone like Jason after everything she's been through. She needs someone to be persistent. Sometimes there are some people that just needs the persistence. I mean, he clearly has, tired of the police department calling Sonny a criminal, letting Sidwell get away with everything. They are completely turning a blind eye to Sidwell. And we're going to get to that because we need to talk about this latest deception minute. But I guess I'm not mad at it. I think Jason is the man for the job. And as Monique pointed out, he figured it out. And I think it's wonderful that he is trying to offer her a way out to say, hey, let's see what's in these medications. If we can duplicate it, then you won't have to be under the thumb of whoever you're working for. They should just be friends. I wouldn't mind if they were just friends. I think they would make wonderful friends. I'm neutral. I'm just watching. I don't know. I'm not invested either way. Though I love Jason. And Britt is growing on me in a sense this time around. When she was on Canvas before, I wasn't watching her enough to be invested either way. So this time I am paying attention to Britt, and she's growing on me a little bit. And she just has she has the wall up, honey, all the way to the sky, and with good reason. I mean, Sidwell is nothing to play with right now. I mean, this guy is nothing to play with. Whew. So, but I'm glad that she made headway, that she helped Portia out, and that this is the hardest I've ever seen Jason fight for a woman. I'm not mad at that part. Not mad at it at all. And I wonder how far he will go because, again, Britt is challenging him in a way that most of the women resigned in. And I say that because even Sam, although like she's my favorite pairing of Jason's, she had to deal with coming after Sonny and Carly and the mob. So what I want to see here is Jason outgrow that trend, because I have to admit, I understand that it's completely in character for Jason, but it's time to evolve. It's okay for him to evolve and to outgrow certain things that no longer serve him. And I want to see him outgrow this, because him putting Sonny and Carly and the mob first and foremost, I don't want Britt to, I want Britt to challenge him out of it. She's right to sit here and withhold all of her cards in order to make him prove it. And that's why sometimes, we as women, sometimes we don't get everything that we want because, we're not standing on business. And Britt is standing on business. This is her life that's at stake. So we'll see what Jason does. And I am looking forward to that part because I do want to see him evolve out of that. So, What was I? Jason is used to strong-willed women, Sam and Carly. Yeah, Sam is strong, but we also saw her weaknesses, and that's why. But wait a second. I will say this: Carly will need Jason soon for the Brennan mess. Hope Isaiah end up being the dad so Curtis can divorce her and Trina see that her mom is a cheater. What I will say is that Britt is strong in her own way. She's just not. Britt has strength. I'm not gonna say she's not strong-willed. She's just not guns blazing. Sam was a different breed of woman. She was the one that could more so handle his life, and Carly too, in a sense. We're gonna get to Carly. Let me write that down because we got to talk about Carly and Valentine and Lulu. But I want to now I want to move to Sidwell, and also real quick I want to mention Elizabeth. So right before we go into Sidwell, because I'm wondering, Britt do not reach that level yet to demand anything from Jason, and you're right. But the only reason why I say that is because Jason is pushing her to give up crucial information about her life that could put her life on the line. So if Jason is going to push her, then he's going to have to meet her demand. Okay? If she was sitting there begging Jason, then she's going to have to prove to him. But he needs to prove to her to meet her demand in this situation. And that's what needs to happen. Sidwell got photos of Laura and Sonny with Dalton in the truck, but no pictures of Jason. Did he say he didn't have pictures of Jason? Like, did we outright confirm it? Or he might and just didn't mention it because he doesn't need to have Jason in his back pocket. Because let's say Britt tells Jason all of it. What if Sidwell needs to have Jason in check? Are we absolutely sure that he didn't get pictures of Jason? I'm gonna have to go back to hear that dialogue. Because he might just be sitting on it and we don't know it. I'm gonna have to go back to hear that dialogue again. But Britt was folding when she was with Jason last time. Now she's all clammed up. Yeah, because didn't Marco show up and threaten her again? He did. Marco threatened her again. A lot of folks are not feeling Marco right now. How do we feel about Marco? Temperature check. Let me see here. So Elizabeth, many fans are noticing that Elizabeth's role on the show has been sounding board, not really having an actual storyline. This week, the annoying as hell, Britt is the key with all this Sidwell mess. So they had maybe it was like truly a PSA. I was intrigued because I thought that I didn't realize people got allergy shots in the winter. I just thought allergy was like a spring summer thing, but I don't deal with it myself personally, so I wouldn't know. But her scenes with Felicia this week, it seemed like a public service announcement. I guess like she had mites on her eyes and like she was sitting there talking about, she was rubbing it and whatever. She needs her own storyline. Some other folks was wondering if maybe what's going on with Elizabeth's eyes, maybe it could be more like maybe it was connected to Sidwell somehow. I can't remember exactly the exact words, but some folks was wondering if it would like grow into that. Yes, Marco is worse than Brad. He is, and Lucas is caught up in it. But Sidwell is further deepening. Liz has always been boring. I wouldn't say always, but I think within the last few years, especially how she was wrapped up with Finn and that ridiculousness, it certainly hasn't helped her because she was much more feisty back in the day. I will say that about her. Liz had much more feistiness than she did. So Sidwell is now deepening his hold when it comes to deception, and Lucy is being played like a fiddle. How do we feel about Sidwell and Lucy's kiss? I don't think Sidwell is interested in Lucy at all. I think he has more romantic chemistry with Ava. But I believe he's just using Lucy as a means to an end, because Lucy is the one that talked the other ladies into following along with what Sidwell's demands are. Give Liz a real story campaign. I'm not even a Liz fan. Yeah, I think she needs it. Let me see here. They did Liz so dirty this week. So now Sidwell is going to use his own minerals is getting ready to wreak havoc on Port Charles. He certainly is. He's using his own minerals with deception products, but I think if I remember correctly, he wants to slap his own labels on it. This is not going to bode well for the ladies of deception in the long run. This absolutely will not. He's going to end up, something's going to happen, and he's going to blackmail them. He's going to blackmail them too. Also, not only that, but he now is going to be able to push these products and bring them in through Sonny's peers. The fact, and you're right, the PCPD keeps calling Sonny a criminal, but they are sleeping completely on the fact that Sidwell is now more in control of Port Charles than Sonny. I'm not sure how this is going to unfold, but man, oh man, I was hoping Brooklyn was going to hold out, and definitely I'm sad that Tracy missed this meeting, because there needed to be some more brass and knuckles in this, because Sidwell has far too much control in what's going on with deception right now. Felicia didn't really have much of a say. She was sitting in to hear the best interests of Maxie. And we all know that Maxie is where she is now because of Sidwell. Will that be found out? We don't know. Yeah, I mean, Drew should join forces, because Drew was reminded of his place when it comes to Sidwell when he showed up Drew is such a jerk. He showed up at Alexis's home to have, hi Freddie. He showed up at Alexis's home to hold the meeting when it comes to Willow. And he's sitting there talking about, oh, this isn't going to work. You all got to get out. And Marco put him in his place. And was like, my father has interest in this, and reminded him. So that was a nice little moment, though, because Drew is such a jerk. So for him to be under someone's thumb, it's nice. It's nice. And so it'll be interesting to see if right now we have Jason, Sonny, and Laura forming an alliance to take down Sidwell, and at least right now to find out what it is that Sidwell is up to, because we do not know his overall game, like what is the root of all of this when it comes to Sidwell. Lucy clearly has no respect for Maxie at all. You would think they would say Maxie isn't here. Should we wait for Maxie to get better? Right. Or at least for Tracy to be there. So I did like that, it seems that Willow can sometimes like tamper Drew down. He was so I just don't like how he speaks to people. I really don't, especially people that are there that you've hired to help and what have you. The lady that sat in, I can't remember her name. That's when they wait for Tracy to get them boxes back from Drew. I hope so. I hope Drew doesn't get away with stealing those heirlooms, especially Alan's trains. But so happy Tracy is back tomorrow. Me too. What is that woman's name that works for Alexis that sat in on the proceedings? I'm glad that they had a trial run with Willow. Willow, girl, shut up. Because, girl, you don't need to go on the stand. You don't need to go on the stand. It's like she's not listening. I think that was a really good trial run. I'm glad we got to see that. Because, girl, there's a lot of questions, and they're right. She's volunteering way too much information. And the lady came back and was like, you sound guilty. You sound very guilty. Alexis is, you can see it. I will say, the actress who plays her is just doing a phenomenal job with playing the beats of the emotions without even having to say much sometimes, because it's wearing her out. She's doing this because of Scout. And I hope that there's some other way that she can gain leverage so she can see Scout and maybe possibly get Scout away from Drew. And so Danny can also see Scout as well. So that's another thing. Let me write that down. Thing as well. So she definitely did it. I think Sidwell wants Port Charles territory. It seems like a powerful port. We also, and this may be the last thing Michael needs to report Chase so that he can be fired. Absolutely so. This will probably be the last thing I mention, because I'm hungry. I'm ready to eat before the baby wakes up. And I got to check on Lucas. He's been so quiet. Matter of fact, I'm not going to wait till the live stream is over. I'm going to go check on my son. I'll be right back. Take these slippers off before I wake him up. Lucas is good. He's sleeping. I even heard a little light snoring. He's been asleep since about 4:30, 5 o'clock. What concerns me is that I'm going to be up all night. But I ain't about to wake a sleeping baby. Like I said, hopefully. But usually when I sit down to eat, it's like his senses be tingling. And then he's like, I got to get out. So we'll see what happens. But the last thing I wanted to mention. Oh, thank you very much. I think so too. So Valentine and Carly, Lulu, and the kids. So Lulu is on edge. At first, I was a little annoyed. I was like, "Girl, he's not gonna hurt Charlotte." However, with her having just gotten Charlotte back, not having known where Charlotte has been for quite some time, and trying to bring her home, I can understand her concerns, because she doesn't know what Valentine is thinking. She doesn't know what he's doing, what's about to happen. She wants to keep her daughter with her. As a mom, I can completely understand that. I be thinking about that when it comes to my son. I be reminding myself, my son is with me. He's not going anywhere. And even if that were to change, that's a process that has to unfold. So I can completely understand where she's coming from with her concerns about Charlotte. Charlotte, I again want to say that I'm glad that they decided to recast so we can have her on more. I do like seeing Lulu with the children, or with the teenagers. I'm liking it. It's normal, and it makes me think about what life will be like when I have teenagers. What Layla and Lucas are going to be like. So I did enjoy it. Carly, Brennan. How are we feeling about Brennan? I think those were also scenes this week. Brennan showed up at the PCPD after he and Jocelyn bumped heads. Jocelyn showed up at her mother's house, and we're going to get to Carly. But Brennan, do we like Brennan? Is he a bit too aggressive? But anyhow, he showed up at the PCPD and tried to, put his knuckles into Alexis. Alexis is like, look, I don't think he's going to come around to where I'm at. If I knew, I would tell you. I would feel some type of way if you tried to surveil my house, After what Nell put Chase through almost cost him his job, now he's risking it for Willow, and she still have not learned he is a complete idiot. He needs to no longer be a detective. I think Chase's problem is, again, his relationship with Willow and Nell was completely different, so he's not prepared when it comes to Willow at all. He's not seeing it. Something's going to have to happen for him to really see how much she's changed. He's going to have to get hurt. It's going to have to hurt him. At least that's my opinion. So I'm glad that Lulu stuck up to Brennan, stood her ground when it came to Brennan. I did want to smack Charlotte when she was like, I'll talk to him, Mom. It's like, would you stay in a child's place? I am your mother. Keep your butt up there. I said no. I was so frustrated for Lulu. Oh, these teenagers. So she did get a message from her dad that let her know that he's safe, but to stay put. So I think that was Brennan is okay. So that was good. Carly, I actually enjoyed Carly and Valentine this week. How she made his ass go out to the shed. I was like, it's cold. I know if it's cold up here for me in Ohio, I can only imagine New York type of cold right now. So, but it was really good scenes. I am here for the continuation of their partnership and them getting rid of Brennan. He's definitely going to get hurt, and Chase won't have no one to blame but himself. It saddens me to see Chase running after Willow and losing his marriage to Brooklyn in the process. Do you think it's going to get that far to where he loses Brooklyn over Willow? There's a lot of people who feel like Willow and Chase might get back together. He's too gullible to be a cop. He should have verified that information when she came inside talking about the charges were dropped. Like, I would have been like, I didn't hear that from the PCPD. Or at least text somebody and be like, were the charges dropped, you know? Like, Willow really lied. You're still not feeling this, Jack Brennan? I'm looking forward to seeing that. I do like the scenes between Carly and Jocelyn. Both of them have their secrets going on right now. So it's just really cool to see them play off of each other and dance around the truth of Jocelyn being a WSB agent, with Jocelyn trying to conceal the truth and Carly also trying to conceal that she knows the truth. I'm here for the continuation of Valentine and Carly's partnership. Absolutely. Willow and Chase probably sleep together. Maybe. I think Chase will snap out of it once he finds out that what Willow did to Sasha. He just might. But again, we need for that to come out. And the thing is, it stinks that Michael doesn't have a hard evidence. Like, we know it happened, but in what way could Michael get hard evidence other than a confession straight from Willow that she did that? And then Drew, I think Drew is aware as well that Willow did that. And then Nina, and then Dr. Obrecht. So yeah, I want more Dr. O. Let me just put that out there. Once the truth comes out about Willow, it'll be too late. So I'm going to end the live stream right there. Make me some dinner because I am hungry. And I hope you all enjoyed this live. Thank you for joining me as always. The plan is to be back very soon. But again, if I am not back in time for Christmas or before Christmas, I just want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Please be safe out there. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your time. Pour into yourself so your cup can runneth over. You can bless everyone around you. All right? Good night. Have a wonderful week. Bye.